came around and you, but I saw you, and I'm not surprised by what I found, 'cause I know I needed something different, and it had to be you. Out the blue, somebody who would listen, and it had to be you. Out of all the people to revive my love, couldn't be just anyone. But baby, it had to be you, you.
I could really use a change of scenery. Yeah. Everybody smoking all the greenery. Yeah. Clothes that match they were handed down to me. But I'm still fly, I know. I'm still fly, let's go. It could all be worse, I could be a hater like you. It could all be worse. Clothes to make the man, but that poison's gonna kill you. From the inside out. So right now, say it with your chest now, say it with your chest now. I'm young, I'm free, can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. How are you? Hope you're doing well. It is a tremendous Thursday. And as always, it's my pleasure to be with you. I feel a little bit drained this morning, but it's all a part of the process. I will, I'm sure, feel better later today, and as we move a little forward. Good morning to you. Welcome back. Nathan Ivy, the Nathan Ivy Show, where nothing is funnier than the truth. Men are allowed to be men. On some of these other platforms, they won't even allow a man to be a man. In some parts of our culture, being a man is still looked down upon. Come on, some damn toxic masculinity. What the hell are you talking about? Masculinity could never be toxic. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with this world? Good morning to you. On today's show, among other things, I want to talk about, I want to ask a question. Did Jaleel White just throw Bill Cosby under the bus? We were just talking about Bill. Plus, I've got some updates on some stories that we've talked about throughout the week that, we really got into. I want to give you some updates on it, including the update on a woman who is Black woman who has top secret clearance working for the Department of Defense. We talked about this 2 days ago, but there's been some movement in that case. I want to give you some updates as well. Plus a smattering of other things. I'm not sure if you watched it yesterday, but Laura Mitchell was on locally. She was doing Woke Wednesdays with Sister Iris. I may play the video feed so people can see that. I don't think she'll have an issue with that. A very interesting conversation. Now, Laura Mitchell is a superintendent. She announced this week on Monday that she is leaving. She out of here. She's going over to Beach Acres. Who is going to lead CPS? Plus a smattering of other topics that may or may not be on your radar screen, including Liz Cheney. The Republican Party continues to resemble, you tell me what they resemble. They ousted Liz Cheney. That's the daughter of Dick Cheney. He used to be a big timer. He used to be a big boss. He used to be a somebody in the Republican Party. Well, not anymore, because even out of office, the cult of celebrities surrounding Donald Trump continues. That's his party. And it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense that a lion-ass, self-aggrandizing, narcissistic mofo would be the leader of the modern-day Republican Party. It all kind of makes sense, quite honestly. Who else would lead these motherfuckers? This goofy-ish. And Liz Cheney, she got ousted because she refused to tell election lies. So props to Liz Cheney. She refused. I'm telling you, man, I'm going to say it again. These women are showing a whole lot more backbone than men out here. I wish it wasn't true. I wish I could say something different. I don't see none of these. Well, I'll take it back. There have been some instances like Kasich and others, but right now, Liz Cheney is showing more leadership and more backbone than anybody else in Congress because she refused to regurgitate the election lies that were being told by Donald Trump as if the election was stolen. The hell out of here. Get out of here. And what did she get for it? She got ousted. It's like, girl, bye. Yeah. I know it's lies, but those are lies we telling. So if you ain't gonna tell our lies, then you got a road in. We'll talk. We'll holler at you. Bye. Bye, boo. Good morning to you. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to my home office. Good morning to you. How are you? I think we're looking good. I think that's a good looking scene right there. I think so. That ain't bad. Those are real plants, by the way. Love the nature. Good morning to you. Good morning. Hold on. Let me see if I can back this up just a little bit. No. There we go. Just a little bit. A little more headroom there. How we sounding? Can you hear me? Because Facebook's been effing with us lately. I don't know why. I can't tell you why, but it is what it is. Good morning to you. I have had an excellent 24 hours, kinda. Excellent in the sense that it's great to be alive. You don't care how I feel. It is great to be alive. It's great to be with you, family. Good morning to you. What? Where the white women said, y'all crazy. Abusive, controlling masculinity is toxic. Not merely masculinity alone. We love positive masculinity. You're trying to clean it up over there. There's nothing wrong with being masculine. There's nothing wrong with being a man. You shouldn't have to apologize because you're happily heterosexual. I'm happily heterosexual. I ain't apologizing. Simple as that. So where we live in now, men got to explain themselves for your actions. Women can do whatever they want to do. That's right. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. You got to deal with it. So let me circle back around just to kick things off with the cover story is. And that is, let me talk about Jaleel White. I just love the fact that we live in a world where there's so many podcasts and things like that. But most recently, Jaleel White was on a podcast. Jaleel White's doing big things. He's got like Purple Urkel, which is his own sort of like legal cannabis brand, doing big things, teaming up with Snoop and others. So I wish the brother the best. He even reprised the Urkel role for some promos, working with the folks over at Triller. And so that's great. So he was asked about, and if you don't know, Jaleel White is best known for playing Steve Urkel in the 90s hit sitcom Family Matters. Everybody's watching Family Matters. I mean, he just made that something that people had to watch. And he was on a podcast called Uncensored, and he was reflecting on his friendship with now disgraced comedian Bill Cosby, who's currently serving 10 years in a Pennsylvania prison for drugging and sexually assaulting women. And he talked about how basically Bill was sort of like they had a relationship, like a son father type relationship. He said Bill helped him out professionally, and he said, to be honest with you, when he goes back in his mind, he there was some situations where there was women in the room and things like that weren't his wife, and he's looking back like, oh my God. He even referred to Bill Cosby like he was a reverend. Quote, it was like a reverend man did a terrible thing and he's paying the price. It's just like, I think that's where we leave it. A reverend man did a terrible thing and he is paying the appropriate price. So somebody else from Bill Cosby's past is coming out saying essentially that, if you do the crime, you got to do the time. And now the internet is responding saying that Jaleel White it has turned on Bill Cosby, and we don't need you to say that, bro. He's already locked up. I mean, if that's his truth, that's his truth. It is what it is. I just want people to stop saying that because Bill Cosby tried to purchase NBC, that the Jewish mafia, whoever the hell you think it is, they set him up. Because that don't appear to be true whatsoever. But that's the world of podcasting and self-reflection. You're going to get these kind of things coming out. Is this the most relevant thing in the world? Of course it's not, because Bill Cosby's already incarcerated. Nothing's going to change that. But there continues to be a debate in the public sphere about the guilty, whether people think that Bill Cosby was guilty or he was set up. If he was set up, he set himself up. Simple as that. But now you got somebody else. You got 2-3 of the Cosby kids just came out. Now Jaleel White saying, you know what? Who is this woman? You go back in time, quote, you go back in time and you realize how close you were to something, and you put yourself in rooms where you realize his wife wasn't there. That woman was probably there for that purpose. It's a hell of a hindsight thing to look at. And look at Jaleel Wright talking all Jaleel White talking out all general. So basically, he was in a room where there was a woman that was, I guess, being super flirty, or there was some kind of energy between Bill and this woman. And he's like picking up on it. I mean, just because Bill had girlfriends doesn't mean he was drugging people. Of course, it don't mean that. Don't mean that. Just means he had girlfriends. But it don't look good. I'll leave it just like that. 513-873-7134. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, I am here to receive it. If you live in the state of Ohio, here's some news you can definitely use. And that is that our illustrious governor that I didn't vote for, and I never vote for him for any public office ever, I don't think. He says that we're going to lift the health restrictions in the state of Ohio on June the 2nd, I believe, June 2nd. And man, listen, people are ready to party. Y'all ready. People getting vaccinated. It's time to get back to normal. But he says in June, that's when we're going to lift, June 2nd, that's when they're going to lift the health restrictions. Anybody paying attention to the health restrictions anyway? I see people walking around with a mask down here. I'm like, why even put it on your face? I'll tell you why. Because some of these people, these anti-maskers, really, they're only anti-maskers until they get into a situation in which they want to wear their mask. Like if they get into a situation around some people in which they feel uncomfortable, first thing they're going to do is put their mask up. Each Ohio citizen will make their own decision about wearing a mask, social distancing, how to protect themselves, and when for them those actions are appropriate. He says that like he's really saying something. Schools and businesses will be able to set their own requirements, including for masking and distancing, after the state orders expire. So, y'all ready? It's going to be a mad dash. People going to be drinking. They're going to be dating, mating, and relating. They're going to be out. It's smash time. They're going to be smashing a whole place of food, whole bottles of wine, and individuals. It's smash time. Hulk smash. Because humans have been set in for so long, and they are waiting to get out and be social again. On a scale from 1 to 10, 5 being sort of like, I could take it or leave it. Where are you on the scale of I need to get out and get some fresh air and enjoy myself and start to be social again? Where are you on that scale? Where are you on that scale? I need to know. Tell me. I need to know. Good morning to you. Brett Rice, good morning. Roots Rice, smash time. Yeah, it's smash time. Whole plates. Give me more. More food, please. 2, 3 bottles and individuals. It's smash time. Oh, man. So there it is, June 2nd. And some people are saying, hallelujah. How many people are praise dancing right now? Are you praise dancing, waiting to get out? Well, June 2nd, that'll be your day. That'll be your day. More and more people are getting vaccinated. Just yesterday, NAACP talking about some really good stuff. Number one, so now we're in the phase now where it's not just about awareness, it's about pushing people toward the vaccinations. Hell, you can get a vaccination now, just drive up. And at the same time, you got people out there who are ready, as I said. Pushing those vaccinations. They are ready to get back out. They don't want to put a mask on anymore. They want to get out and have some fun. And that's what people are going to do. So June 2nd. How long we been in this pandemic, man? Over a year now? Damn. This one's already open. Been like a year now? Damn. Let me see here. Vaccinations have slowed down in Ohio since everyone 16 and older became eligible March 29th. What are you waiting for? If in fact you are for it, I mean, you can. It's walk up time now. Just walk up, get it. If that's what you feel like you want to do. DeWine said his decision to lift orders follows 4 weeks of declining coronavirus infections and hospitalizations. It also comes amidst increased pressure from fellow Republicans in the legislature. I mean, looking back on COVID, I mean, I just want to share some observations that I learned, and I might do a whole podcast, like a separate like segment where I just talk about this because it needs to be heard. And we've learned so much about ourselves through COVID. And I don't know about you, but my goal was to come out of COVID better than when I came into COVID in so many different ways. And I think I can check off a few of those boxes, and most certainly. In terms of my personal health, most certainly. There's no doubt about that. In terms of some other things in my life, I think so as well. I think you never want to say that COVID was a good thing, but I think there's a silver lining. As I told you, family, the way I looked at COVID was it was a stress test for my business, for my body, for my relationships. It pushed us in positions where we never thought we'd be before. Like I said, me and the wifey has spent more time together during COVID than we probably spent in the 5 years before that because of the hustle and bustle and children and working and things like that. But when you're shut in, especially when you're both working from home, it can be a real test of your relationship. It can be a real test of your relationship because you can live with people and just be like passing ships. Like you might get in bed together, you might eat together. Other than that, you don't spend any time together because you're involved with other things. And when you're forced to spend time together, especially after many years, it can make you look in your relationship and look at it differently. It can make you look at your relationship and learn some different things. So I'm sure our relationship has been no different than your relationships and even a relationship with yourself. COVID has been quite interesting, quite interesting. And in terms of my observations of the world, what I can say is that what we've learned is that there are humans are worse than COVID. The real problem wasn't COVID, it was the way humans reacted to COVID. And even after COVID, humans worse than COVID. Humans are the real problem. It's not the COVID, it's us. Look at the politicians. I mean, look at the school board. Look at these politicians. They couldn't even agree on what to do when we were dealing with a life and death situation. These mofos couldn't even agree on that. Humans worse than COVID. Like at the height of the pandemic, we had some of our fellow humans that couldn't even agree to wear a mask. So what I've learned is really, I've just relearned and doubled down on it, is that, and I'll say this again, I don't know if we're living in the last days, the last biblical days, as foretold by the Bible, that many of you might believe in. I can't tell you that. What I can tell you is that when the last days come, we are going to do it to ourselves. We are going to cause our own apocalypse. It's going to be human beings. It won't be something from God. It'll be us. It'll be us. We are going to destroy the Garden of Eden, aka Earth. It'll be us. It won't be the aliens. It won't be COVID. It'll be humans that destroy this planet. No doubt about it, 100%. It'll be some of these dumbass politicians running around arguing over scraps and lying about the policies because they think it puts them in a good position. It'll be humans. No doubt about it. 100%. The day that our goose is cooked, human beings will be the chefs serving us up. Because we couldn't even agree when it was life and death. We couldn't even agree on what to do when it was life and death, y'all. When it was very, very clear what the choices are, we couldn't even agree. And by we, I mean that very generally because I always kept it on the safety tip. But we had members of the school board that couldn't even agree on what to do the right thing. They would do one thing for themselves personally, but then want to do something different for everybody else. Democrats and Republicans on the local, regional, and national level couldn't even agree. Run around talking about, oh, COVID's just made up. Ain't no big deal. Until they get COVID. Then they want to put out these videos talking about how sorry I am and I should have taken it seriously. I loved all those videos. What was his name? Herman Cain? I ain't got no tears for Herman Cain. He got what he wanted. He got what he wanted. He got exactly what he wanted. I don't got no tears for you because, we need more clean air and clean water. And if we got some idiot humans out here that don't understand, like if you want to play with your life, I wouldn't recommend it. But I'm not gonna shed no tears for you when something bad happened. I'm just gonna enjoy the clean air and clean water. That's it. It's called Darwinism. It's real simple. Darwinism. I don't believe in no mask. Then you get COVID. You know what? I should have wear a mask. Well, hey, listen. If your lungs get out, your lungs give out. I won't shed no. I'm gonna save my tears for the people that deserve it. Humans worse than COVID. And these Republicans, I want to say it to my black folks again, man. I'm not here to tell you that I think that either party has been the savior for the black community. But if you're not intelligent enough to see the differences between the two, I'm not telling you which way to go or not. But if you can't see that for yourself, what the fuck are we gonna talk about? This is obvious. I don't want to hear nobody say they are the same. They are not the same. They're not the same. Anybody that says that is either not smart enough to either have that conversation with you. You shouldn't be talking with them about that shit. Because they're not intelligent enough on the issue. Or they're trying to purposely mislead you, or they are just smart dumb. And you can't save smart dumb people. The only people that can save a smart dumb person is that person themselves. They got to make that transition. But June 2nd, and how would you grade the job of Mike DeWine through this? It wouldn't be, he wouldn't, I had to think about it, but he ain't get no B. That's for damn sure. We're going to start at C level, just about average. Because Mike DeWine is a human windsock, meaning you ever seen a windsock? Just whatever way the wind is going is which way that the windsock is leaning, That's Mike DeWine. Whichever way the strongest winds are blowing, he'll lean to that direction, and that's it. No spine, Mike DeWine. No backbone. And then he caught COVID. Remember that? I'm telling you, man, it is crazy. This is wild. COVID has been so interesting. And the black community remains under-resourced. That's the reason why black folks were hit so hard by COVID, is because we was already dealing with shit before COVID. There was already a health gap. It was already a health gap. Hence the reason for the Center for Closing the Health Gap here in Cincinnati. There was already, the health gap remains. And speaking of which, whatever came of Mike DeWine's goofy little minority health strike force? Minority health strike force. What did they do? They came up with some recommendations, but then they disbanded like before COVID ended. What did they do exactly? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I don't remember. I'm sure there's some people out there that are part of it that'll swear up and down, we did good work, Nate. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure. I can hear it already. I'm sure. If you don't know, Ohio will lift the state mask mandate and all remaining coronavirus health orders except for nursing homes and assisted living facilities on June the 2nd. So it looks like we're on the back end of COVID. And I'd like to know what's this experience been like for you? I'd like to know. While you ponder that, maybe you'll drop a comment. I'll read it. I want to go straight to the phones and say good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivy. This is your West Side Connection, the most hated, the most loved, and the most triggering black man in the chop shop. Drop Squad 52. How you doing, sir?
I'll give you that. You are the most triggering black man in the chop shop. One of them anyway. Good morning to you.
I'm doing good. Mr. Ivy, I'm listening to your monologue, sir, and you're talking about the Republican governor. Did you know he made news yesterday?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, the Ohio governor, Mike DeWine, made headlines yesterday when he announced that the state will be holding 5 weekly lottery drawings, each with a $1 million prize.
Yeah.
Mr. Ivy, do you know what it takes to win or to be in the drawing for that $1 million? Do you know what it takes?
Vaccinated.
Ohioans must have received at least 1 dose of COVID-19 vaccine by the time of the respective drawing. DeWine's announcement comes as other states roll out smaller incentives in an effort to increase the number of Americans who get inoculated. Ohio's splashy lottery has the potential to be more effective as it leverages insights from behavioral economics research. Now, Mr. Ivy, the nature of my call, and thank you for allowing me to be the first caller of the Nathan Ivy Show, which is blowing up. Mr. Ivy, what do you think of behavioral economics? Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't. What am I missing?
Well, you're missing that the research shows that if you pay people, you can get them to behave in a certain way. Now, are these states that are offering these incentives or to the level of Mike DeWine, the great Republican in Ohio that you can't stand because Republicans talking about giving away money, and Republicans are using behavioral economics research to carry out these type of programs for the city of Ohio. So I just want you to be prepared, and the black people who live in Ohio, that with the Republicans in charge, they're thinking about paying people in some kind of economic form to get them to behave in a certain way. So I would just like to ask you, as a powerful, influential member of New Black Media, do you think that Mike DeWine and other state legislators and politicians are on the right track by paying people or offering some monetary incentive to get the vaccine so we can end this whole COVID thing, Mr. Ivy? Because we know how you feel about the COVID-19.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a bad idea. I'm not against the idea. I mean, if it helps as an incentive, then great. Now, that wouldn't incentivize me necessarily. Like, if I decide to get the vaccine, it wouldn't be because of any money or anything like that. You know, my purposes would be health more than anything else. So I already made my decision about it. But so the money has nothing to do with me. But I can see that incentivizing some people. Great. Why not? Make it fun. Get vaccinated, win $1 million. You'll come home with about 600,000, maybe 650,000 after taxes. That's a nice little payday.
Oh, you know, that's a nice chunk, payday. And you know they're gonna get their taxes. We all know that.
You get taxes first.
But again, Mr. Ivy, before I hang up, because I'm not calling to trigger anybody today, because yesterday was I think yesterday I did enough for the whole week. But
I do have to ask you a question before you leave, though, sir. But go right ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Before your question, I just want to point out that in the state of California, they are offering $200 million to Asians to stop hate crimes. California lawmakers seek $200 million to fight hate crimes against Asian Americans, and a lot of people on Twitter reacted to that, and mainly black people on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Ray. Shout out to Renee. The dynamic sisters, twin sisters in the chop shop. But Mr. Ivy, again, I'm just pointing out, now granted this is in California, but it is a blue state. And they're just following suit from the president's executive order. And it's just people are starting to ask questions. I'm talking about these black voters who said, oh, Joe Biden ain't that bad. We just got to get rid of Trump. Oh, he'll be okay. He'll follow our agenda. He'll get George Floyd, criminal justice reform bill passed. They'll get $15. Yeah, they'll do.
Let's be clear. Biden's already better.
Now, see it, Mr. Ivy. I told you I wasn't trying to trigger anybody. Okay, so I don't know. I'm just letting you know that for some reason there's a push toward the Asian community, and I just want to say that there were some Asian Republicans, and mainly a female out here in California, who beat a Democrat. So again, Mr. Ivy, with the emergence of Andrew Yang, you know, the $1,000 a month man who ran for president, who's now running for the mayor of New York, the Asian community, another minority community that again is pushing ahead of the black Americans in this country. So, 8 years under, I mean, the Hispanics have already moved ahead. We already know that. And now they're pushing the Asians. Okay. But again,
do you think
black Americans?
Can I ask you a question?
Okay, ask your question.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got a couple
then
questions.
I'll hang up.
So I'm reading about this. So there's a caucus of Asian and Pacific Islander state lawmakers in California that announced this yesterday. and they're pushing. It hasn't been passed, but they're pushing for an additional $200 million over the next 3 years to fight hate crimes against Asian Americans. Do you think that Asian Americans have been victims of hate crimes?
Yeah, but you got to understand the history in L.A.,
Okay,
Mr. Ivy.
I'm just saying.
Because it goes all the way back to, again, economics. Because if you remember, there was a famous scene from the movie Do the Right Thing, a Spike Lee joint, where it was three brothers sitting on a corner, and they were talking about how these Koreans just got off the boat and they got their own businesses in their community. That's the way it's been in LA since the late 80s and the 90s. And these black and these Koreans who have to live together, or actually the black people have to go to their businesses. There's always been conflict.
Right.
There's always been issues. And you go back to 1991 when a black girl named Latasha Harlan was shot by a Korean store owner, and the woman I think she got 6 months probation, never did a day in jail. And a year later, the whole Rodney King incident happened, and the black people in the community, they took it out on the Korean businesses and they burnt all their stuff down. So when it comes to LA and New York, Mr. Ivy, there is a strong conflict between Asians and black people and people of color. Okay. So I just wanted to say that. And that's all I got, Mr. Ivy.
Well,
Thank you for giving me
before you roll out of here, man, because you are a.
Whoa, I'm not.
Just one question, if you got the time, sir.
I'm not used to this, Mr.
Okay,
Ivy.
yeah,
you want to engage me in conversation?
You, man, because
wow.
You rep for the Republican Party. You rep for Trump. That's your boy. That was your president.
No,
and you're very proud of him.
I told you, I do not worship false idols. Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
go ahead,
do
your
you
thing,
do worship idols. The idol that you worship may not be Donald Trump. It's the Republican Party. Correct? I'm not criticizing you. I'm just setting the table for my question. Why I'm asking
you go ahead.
Because I feel like you're somebody who's qualified to give me an answer. But I'm curious.
Okay.
What do you think about the fact that the Republicans have removed Liz Cheney from a leadership position because she wouldn't regurgitate Trump's lies about the election? What do you think about that?
The reason for that, again, it comes down to the voters, Mr. Ivy. There were 74 plus million Americans who voted for Donald Trump and the GOP down ticket. That's why the Democrats only have a four seat majority in the House, and we all know it's a tie in the Senate. That was because of the voting of 74 plus million Americans during the 2020 election. And Liz Cheney was the only hope to silence that 74 million. So she couldn't do that and be in leadership. So now she will no longer be in leadership, but she'll still have her voice because she appeared last night. Her first interview obviously was not on Fox. It was on one of the other liberal networks. So again, Mr. Ivy, this is all of these tactics by politicians on the left and the right is to influence voters. That's all it is.
So you have no criticism of the Republican Party for ousting her from her leadership position because she wouldn't tell lies.
Mr. Ivy, it wasn't hers. It wasn't like she was it was her job. No, she was anointed, she was appointed to that by leadership and the caucus.
Right.
But because Mr. Ivy, when you're not in power. What
does that say about your party, sir? That they would remove her from her leadership position because she wouldn't tell lies?
They removed her the same way they seated her in that position. When you're in leadership, Mr. Ivy, just like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and all the other committee heads like Adam Schiff, they're all on the same page. They're all consistent.
So you have no opinion about what you're saying.
I'm giving you my opinion.
No, you're
I'm
not.
telling
you're regurgitating. You're telling us facts. We already know that. I'm saying, what does that say about your party? That they would oust this woman from her leadership position because she wouldn't regurgitate Trump's lies about the election. What does that say about the party that you love so much?
Okay, what it says is, Mr. Ivy, when you lose an election, elections have consequences. Whether you win or lose, you have to regroup. You have to come up with a strong message to oppose the new party that's in power now. So you cannot have the one of the three members in leadership to be going against what the party stands for, which is to take back the House in 2022 and possibly take back the Senate.
No,
the whole
don't do that.
point is,
Don't do that because I'm
why
sure that
not?
Liz Cheney
Why
was a
not?
good Republican. I'm sure she wanted the Republicans to
Where is
take
she,
control of the House. I'm sure she wanted the Republicans
Mr.
to have a
Ivy?
majority in the Senate. That was not the issue, sir. The issue is that
Mr.
she wouldn't
Okay,
regurgitate the Trump lies about the election, and that's the only issue. That's the only reason
no,
why they
no, it's
removed her from her leadership positions.
okay, Mr. Ivy. Why do you think they stopped talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene? Why do you think she's still out there spewing her rhetoric? Because it was the voters locally who put her in office. Liz Cheney, who did the same thing from Wyoming. That ain't even where she was. But anyway, Liz Cheney is a politician. She did what she needed to do to keep her constituents happy. Okay? You saw what happened to Mitt Romney when he took his ass back to Utah. He got booed off the stage. And he had the audacity to tell the audience, aren't you embarrassed? But this is how politicians operate, Mr. Ivy. It's just the Democrats were the same way when you had the spat between Nancy Pelosi and AOC and the squad. It was the same thing. They were out of power. The party was divided. They didn't know which direction to go. So they bring up Sleepy
I don't
Joe.
remember that.
Oh, Sleepy Joe is a moderate. Oh, Sleepy Joe gonna get along with everybody.
Again, you're
Yes,
trying
sir.
to get away from the real issue. I'm not saying the Republican
No,
Party
Mr.
or the Democrat Party is some squeaky clean, party, but I just don't remember a recent example where the Democrat leadership decided to take away the
Oh my God,
leadership
Mr. Ivy,
responsibilities.
are you serious?
Let me get it all out because
Mr.
one of their
Ivy.
members wouldn't go along with a lie that everybody knew was a lie. I don't remember that.
Mr. Ivy.
Can you
Mr.
give me
Ivy,
that
you don't
example where
remember
the Democrats did the same thing?
Yes. Remember they challenged Nancy Pelosi after 2018 when they took back the House with all those progressive what do you call them the progressive movement with AOC and the squad. All those people came in and the party, the Democrat Party, was they were in the same confusion that the Republicans are. Which direction are we going to go? We have to come together to go up against the opposing party.
I see. So you don't have
the
an
same
example.
thing happened.
I see. So you don't have an example.
Mr. Ivy.
I get it. You don't have an example. That's nowhere near the same as what just happened to Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney they sat her down because she wouldn't go along with Trump's lies about the election. All that stuff you're talking about AOC and Pelosi, there's no connection whatsoever.
It is.
There's no similarities
Nancy Pelosi
at all.
was in. Okay, where was Nancy Pelosi before she became Speaker of the House? She was part of the Democrat leadership.
Irrelevant.
No, it's not. You're talking about Liz Cheney, one of three members of the Republican leadership who was not on the same page with her caucus, Mr.
No, she
Ivy.
was on the same page. She just didn't want to tell lies about the election.
Okay, 74 million. 74 million people.
Irrelevant.
Mr. Ivy, it's not irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
Why do you? Okay, so why do you think Democrats are so? Mr. Ivy, this is all they're talking about. Liz Cheney this, Liz Cheney that. Why? They should be happy.
Because it's remarkable.
That the so-called, no, it ain't. It's politics, Mr. Ivy. And don't ask the questions if you don't like the answers, Mr. Ivy. You said I was qualified.
Yeah.
So how you not going to? Okay, so when I give you an answer to your question, don't tell me it's stupid. Don't tell me it's irrelevant.
I never told you it was stupid. You just brought up some irrelevant points. That's all I said.
Okay. I appreciate the line of question, and I'm always here for it, Mr. Ivy, because I ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
And it's just starting to heat up because Joe Biden, he got some issues going on this week, and it's just gonna get worse next week because again, you got all these states offering all this money to get vaccines. They opening up, having all kind of lotteries and parties, and you got our dumbass president running around with a mask, don't know what day of the week it is. That's all I got. Now that last statement was meant to trigger. Top score 52. Drop the to anyone who wants to catch it. Peace.
If you want to, thank you for the call. If you want to motivate humans, throw some money their way. That's what they're doing in the state of Ohio. Quote, 2 weeks from tonight, this was yesterday. These are the words of our governor, Mike has no spine, DeWine. 2 weeks from tonight, on May 26th, we will announce a winner of a separate drawing for adults who have received at least their first dose of the vaccine. This announcement will occur each Wednesday for 5 weeks, and the winner each Wednesday will receive $1 million. That's in the state of Ohio. So my Ohioans, stand up. Where you at? How much is this a motivator for you to get vaccinated? Like, if you were on the fence, are you like, shit, I'm about to get this vaccination quick. I got a chance, a shot at winning $1 million? What would you do with $650,000? Which I think roughly, I can't tell you approximately to the dollar, but I think roughly that's what you'll get after tax. It's about $650. That ain't bad. $650 is enough for you to get you a nice little piece of somewhere, and then have you a nice little piece of something to the side, right? For your retirement. Raise your hand if you know what to do with $650,000. Yeah, I know just what to do with that, right? So that's what they do in the state of Ohio. I mean, I'm not against it. I mean, if it works to get more people vaccinated, cool. Got no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be conducted by the Ohio Lottery. Those are the folks that do our lottery anyway. All Ohio residents over the age of 18 are eligible, so long as they have received at least one dose of the vaccine. Let's go to the phones here. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, comrade.
Hey, good morning. What's up, Black Russia?
What's happening?
How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing better.
You doing better? That's good to hear, man. That's good to hear.
I just wanted to let people know, look, I went to go get some help. I'm not afraid to say it. And this is kind of like therapy for me, too, to say this out loud. Okay? I was very distraught to get the information I got the last couple of days, but I wanted to go get some help. And I want to tell Jerica, thanks for talking to me. I did talk to Jerica, too. It was a confidential conversation, but I appreciate her, reaching out through channels. And I talked to her, to who? Talked to some other folks. Jerica, okay, yeah, she good people. And I went and checked myself in somewhere, and I'm getting help. So
okay, that's good to hear, man. I love hearing that, bro.
Just pray for me. And, guys ain't above getting no help, man. I just had to accept the fact I need some help. So, hey, don't go out here doing nothing crazy, y'all. Just go get some help if you feel like it.
All right, good to hear, man.
All right, forget the topics today, comrade. I just wanted to let you know that. Take care.
All right, take it easy. That's Black Russia said he went to go get some help. He was dealing with some personal issues, and I ain't a shit. If you need some help, you need to talk to somebody, do it. You can do it virtually now these days. You ain't got to go in. You can sit there right on your phone. They'll do a Zoom call with you. You know what I'm saying? I tried to give the man, as I do to all of my listeners, the best advice I can. I won't go into all the details, but if you missed it, you missed it. You got to go back and listen to the show. But, men have feelings too. And, women cheat probably way more than men do. They just lie about it. And they're better liars. They're better at holding it in. And like I told you, I think, in my opinion, this is just me. I think at the core, men are more honest than women are about infidelities. Now, we try to make games and say, oh, women are just better at hiding it. I think just men are just more honest about those kind of things. That's just me. I could be wrong about that. I'm just putting it out there to provoke some conversation. So he was dealing with some of that, allegedly. And that can be a tough thing for a man. Your ego going to be bruised. You're going to feel less than, maybe. What is he doing? He must be better than me. All that kind of shit going to go through your head, right? That's normal. Then you hurt because you feel like you've been betrayed. Your feelings are hurt. I get it. I understand 100%. I get it. But life goes on. There's another day. There's always tomorrow. There's going to be a Friday every week. You know what I'm saying? You going to crawl into a ball and give up? Fuck no. Do you? So I'm glad to hear you got back out there and say you're getting some help. That's great to hear.
Good morning.
You gonna tell the people about your little scare the other day when you was hanging from the stairs? Tell them what you did.
I was hanging.
You gotta talk. You gotta get closer to the microphone.
I was hanging from my steps. And I was so scared.
Yeah, you scared the hell out of me.
Your mom.
And mommy. Yep. Anything else? Okay.
And Iron Man and Spider-Man said hi.
All right. Where's Black Panther?
He's sick. He's sick.
Tell the people about your YouTube channel that's coming.
My YouTube channel.
You gotta talk to the mic, bro.
My YouTube channel is coming soon, and Dad's gonna post it.
All right. You mind if I get back to work? Come get some daddy love. Come on.
You hear that barking?
I do. It's a dog outside. Okay, you want to take Iron Man, Spider-Man? You want to come? I can't really do what I'm doing to Iron Man, Spider-Man right here. Can you go find Black Panther? So, was it yesterday? No, it was 2 days ago. I'm working. Wifey's working. We're at home. My kids have just got home. I hear this. I hear my son say, "Daddy, Mommy." But it's like one of those, like, you know, when your kids are in trouble kind of things. I jump up, zoom. I'm there in a flash, right? I go over to the steps, and all I do is see this little body hanging. I see him from like here down. He's hanging from the steps. This little boy trying to climb the steps and got stuck, then got scared. And he was so high up, he must have been about 4 feet off the ground. He didn't want to jump. He scared the heck out of us. Okay, Black Panther's here.
We are back in the game. Hello.
You gotta say good morning, Choppers.
Morning, Choppers.
All right, give me a kiss. Daddy loves you. We gotta cut this hair, man. Let me see. Okay.
I didn't know you were. You scared me, Mom.
Got all the love. Uh-oh, what? Wifey love? You see the wifey arm? What's up? What? I'm getting some wifey love? Oh, man, I'll take it. I'm blessed. That's what I said. Every day is a beautiful day. I get a chance to hang out with them. I got a beautiful daughter who is she's not exceeding my expectations. Nah, she ain't exceeding them. She's definitely meeting my expectations, which I have been told can be difficult, but she's handling it. Speaking of which, she's dealing with some stuff. You know, kids, I can't get all into it, but pick up yesterday, I'm like, what's up with you? How was your day? It wasn't good. I'm like, oh boy. And as a father, you're trying to like do computations and calculations. How do I address this? How do I deal with it? She got some stuff going on with her friends. I told the wife, I wish I could do like a 21 Jump Street today and go to school and in disguise as one of her friends and make sure she's cool all day. But as a parent, you can't do that. She's dealing with some teenage girl type of stuff. Not in any way to minimize it, but you know, the stuff your kids go through. Ah, man. So that was the family interlude right there. Back to our regular scheduled show. Ronald Wright shared the stream. Thank you. Share the stream. That means everything. I mean, just to talk about it for a second, I mean, listen, I know that people rock with me and people rock with us and they like what we're doing and they like some parts of it. You might like some shows more than others. You might hate some shows or whatever, but I think, you know, how could you ever be against the mission that we're on to amplify Black voices in the greater Cincinnati area and beyond? I think most people in the audience, Black or white, can get behind something like that. And so your support means everything. Nobody does anything by themselves. I'm no egomaniac. Nobody builds anything by themselves. And so if this becomes whatever, it'll be because of you. So whether it be my patrons, which I am always grateful to my patrons first and foremost, to my longtime choppers that come in and just drop your comments. Man, people do so many different things for the show in terms of recommending guests, recommending the show to sponsors, just interacting, letting us know what's going on and sharing the show. You know, on Facebook, that's everything. You know, liking and sharing is everything. It's everything. And the reach of the show grows exponentially, exponentially when you share it on your page. Hit me with a share. And hopefully we're doing something that you can be proud of, that, sometimes the language goes there. We grown folks. I might be talking about something one day where you absolutely can't stand my ass. Okay. But I hope what you know is at the end of the day is I got your back. We have the best interest in heart. And that's it. We just doing us, each and every individual podcaster, just sharing and amplifying their voice unfiltered. That's what they think and how they feel and what they have to give. And so hopefully that's something you can get down with. So hit us with a share. I won't say the very least, because that's huge. Your share means everything. My goal with each and every show was to hit at least 75 shares. Sometimes we hit it, sometimes we don't. When we hit 75 shares, that's 75 times like 500. You know what I'm saying? And that immensely pushes us out there even more, because that's how Facebook works. That's just how it works. And just for folks who don't know, like when we go live from my personal page, I don't know, a bunch of people on there, but not Facebook doesn't show it to everybody. I don't know why not. What's the use of having people that follow you or friends with you on Facebook if Facebook doesn't show them what you post? But Facebook doesn't work like that. So let me see. Pardon me. Let me jump inside the chop shop. Let me start there, should I say. Get to the chopper! Brandy writes, good morning. Ray writes here. CG Dub writes, good morning, choppers. Tanika writes, good morning, choppers. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the choppers. Miss D writes, greetings. Brenda writes, happy Thursday, Nate and the choppers, because we chop it up. Miss D writes, level 3, I am happy hunkering down away from others and potential COVID spores and its variants. Drop writes, good morning, choppers. Ohio's $1 million lottery for vaccinated adults draws on behavioral economics, or is it reparations since it's Black Americans who are not getting the COVID-19 vaccine? Interesting. It could be reparations if only Black Americans or Black Ohioans were allowed to get the lottery. That, then you might say on some levels. Sharp writes, I'm staying masked up. Yeah, that's a good question. Like June 2nd, the governor's gonna lift the mask mandate and all the other state required health regulations. Are you gonna continue to mask up? Probably so. I just don't trust humans. Some humans, I just don't trust them. And so you can put your trust in it, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. Let me see. Good morning. Glad you went and got help. Black Russia, right? CG Dub, right? She's happy you went and got help. I'm happy you got some help too, man. Yeah, because when something like that happens, depending on where your mentality is, you need to step away and deal with it. I'll say it again, and this goes for my wife in the relationship I'm in right now. People ask yourself, like, how would you deal with cheating? And for me, I've got a lot of time and a lot of investment. So I need to hear more than just the transgression. I need to understand the motivation. I understand the mindset. Do I think that relationship can survive cheating? 100%. 100% believe that. It just depends on the mentality of the individuals, what was going on, why it happened, and what they want to do. Like, if you don't want to be together no more, and that's the straw that broke the camel's back, then so be it. But if you still want to be together, and maybe that people make mistakes or whatever, people do shit, then that's on you. It's just like, I'm just different with relationships, man. You should have your relationship the way you want it to be, whatever that is. Kamikia writes, and good morning to you. She writes, roughly 50% of government funds is generated from individual income taxes. There are other sources. Those incentives represent a very small amount of the total relief funding. Speaking of relief funding, for people out there interested in PPP loans, May 31st is the deadline. It was extended by Biden, but May 31st is the deadline for my people out there that are interested in PPP loans. So if you're interested, do your research, and then, don't do some dumb Don't go out here and do something strange for a little bit of change, because that's all it's going to be, is a little bit of change. So don't set yourself up for failure like that. Make sure you're doing the right things at all times. What's up, Gerald? Good morning, brother. I was just thinking about you. Let me see. Good morning to you. Glenn writes, he's lying. He talking about Drop. Roots writes, what the F? Drop is full of ish. Answer the question, Drip Drop. They canceled her, but they hate cancel culture. See, that's the big hypocrisy of it. Republicans run around here like, we hate cancel culture. It's wrong for people to not support things that they don't like. I don't understand it. I mean, these arguments are stupid. What happens is they'll just come up with like a catchy phrase, but the thoughts behind it don't really make a lot of sense. We all like cancel culture. I like what Glenn calls it. Glenn calls it consequence culture. Yeah, it's consequences for your actions. I'm not going to spend my money at any venue that's disrespecting my people. You can't get my money. If I pick up the paper and read that XYZ company is disrespecting us, that's a wrap. It's a wrap for you. Simple as that. If I pick up the paper or go on Facebook and I hear about, somebody that looked like me getting disrespected by one of these local businesses, I probably ain't never going there again. That's the consequence for treating people a certain way. That's the way. That's called That's called the free market. Republicans love to talk about the free market, which is what? It's the will of the consumer. The consumer will dictate what they like based upon whatever. But when Republicans start getting canceled, all of a sudden, we don't like cancel culture. You talking about the free market? The will of the consumer? Like Glenn said, that's consequence culture. Those are the consequences of your actions, period. If I go to a restaurant, man, I've gone to some of these little corner gas station markets, whatever, to buy everything. You know what I'm saying? And none of the shit they buy in there is good for you. And I've seen them talking crazy to folks. I walk straight out. Never go back again. Like, you ain't going to disrespect her like that, and then I'm supposed to give you some money? I'm not doing it. Won't happen. You can do it, but I won't be doing it. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
What's going on, Nate? How you doing, man? Good morning.
Hey, what's up, Glenn? Good morning to you, brother. I'm doing well.
Hey, let me first say that the whole consequence culture, I picked that up from somebody else, but it sounded so good. I was like, I'm about to bite that style, so I don't want to take credit for it. But yeah, hey, I plagiarized it. I pulled a Melania. Remember when she plagiarized Michelle Obama's speech?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, it was like word for word. But let me say this. Just listen to little alt Drop X out there on the West Coast. What you heard from Drop today, folks, was the insanity that's currently going on in the Republican Party. And I've said this, I don't know how many years in a row, that Donald Trump would be the brown stain in the Republican Party's tighty-whities for years to come. And what happened to Liz Cheney is just the latest example. And what I found funny, and I got to commend you, man, I didn't yell at you the way I yell at Chuck Todd when all you see is Republicans on TV and all they do is try to filibuster for like a good 45 seconds to a minute because they know they only have a 3-minute interview. When they answer a question, just go ahead ad nauseum, and don't really answer the question. But when Drop tried to play they tried to vote Nancy Pelosi out. No, actually, Drop, what happened is they challenged Nancy Pelosi's leadership from the left. The AOCs, the Ayanna Presleys, the Rashida Tlaibs, the Ola Omars. That's what they tried to do. Actually, Nancy Pelosi won that fight, but guess what happened? The left got her to push legislative agendas that they wanted to see. And, get out of that Joe Manchin mode. So if you're going to talk about it, and this is the thing, Drop, when you call the chop stop acting like we don't have electricity, cable, streaming, TV, and all that shit. And a cell phone where we can actually look this up while you're actually dropping that crazy crap. And just know the truth, Drop. You continue to talk about 74 million. I believe he lost by 7 million. How about that? If anything Democrats need to do, and Nate, you're right, believe me, Democrats, this ain't, shiny clean. But one thing Democrats need to do, we need to stop treating Republicans like they won something, like it was really close. Like, if it wasn't, like I said the other day, they keep saying if it wasn't for COVID, Trump would have won. Well, his inability to I don't know, save this country and 540,000 people was the reason why he didn't get voted in. So, yeah, this whole idea that you can take the number 3 woman in the Republican Party and just, kick her out because she, as you stated, and we all know, she wouldn't regurgitate a lie. That's the current Republican Party that you currently have right now, and everybody realizes. I just hope the Democrats got enough, to take advantage of these fools. I mean, really, that's what they need to do. This goes back to the article, Nate. I don't know if you remember when James Carville, when he was talking about wokeness, and they brought out how you can't talk about defunding the police, and how it's a bad message and how it doesn't work in certain districts. We all know this if you delve into politics the way I do. But he also, and this was the biggest point of the article, outside of the whole wokeness label, is when he talked about how Democrats need to learn how to stay on message and just pound Republicans ad nauseum the way they do them when it comes to stuff like taxes. If they asked, the Republicans to raise the tax 0.1%, they would still be against it. Democrats need to say, no, we need to concentrate on the Matt Gaetz of the world who's currently involved in some sex slave, teenage girl type of a scandal going on. They need to concentrate on Marjorie Taylor Greene, who continue to say, crazy stuff. And have you heard the latest? Her and AOC almost got into it. Have you heard about that?
I have not.
Corey Bush. Yeah, Corey Bush, the sister from Missouri, she already, decided to move her office down because actually Corey Bush is probably would have put them hands on Marjorie Taylor Greene if she really got that close. But yeah, AOC, apparently, AOC and Marjorie Taylor Greene were walking, opposite ways or in the same direction. And Marjorie Taylor Greene in the back talking about, why do you support terrorist groups like Antifa and Black Lives Matter? And, just yelling it, in the background. And, they say AOC just kind of waved her off like, girl, please, whatever, and just kept walking. Then she tried to catch up with her and still yelling, that same old crazy stuff. Yeah, that's the latest news right now. So that's what's going on.
I'm reading it now.
You know how it is.
Interesting. What's what happened to Karen in Congress? That should be the name of her autobiography, Karen in Congress.
And that's Drop's party. And then you tried to get away from, I'm not really a big Donald Trump supporter. This is the guy talking about he was the first gangster president. This is the same Drop that said, remember when Donald Trump sent out the video of the old people down in Florida on the golf course talking about white power, and Trump, sent that little 12, 15-second video out there, and Drop called in the next day talking about, Nate, Donald Trump don't know nothing about Twitter. Yeah. Remember he tried to pass that shit off?
That's exactly what he said. He don't know nothing about Twitter.
You don't know nothing about Twitter. He was the social media influencer president. But yeah, so let me get out of here, Nate. You know it. I got to clock in for the man. When I got about 9:16. I got 14 minutes. That's all right. Then I waste another half an hour not doing anything. But hopefully in the end, they get when I'm spitting. Petty peace.
Take it easy, man. That's Politically Petty podcast show. You can check it out. Very entertaining and informative. Good morning to you. I need to take a quick pause, just a real quick pause. We kicked off the show talking about Jaleel White. Did he throw Bill Cosby under the bus? Jaleel White was the guest on a podcast called the Uncensored Podcast. I think that's for the Ringer Network. I could be wrong about that. Scratch it if I'm wrong. If I'm right, remember it. And he was asked some question about Bill Cosby, and he basically talked about, and he tried to be real vague about it. Said, I was in the room and saw Bill with some strange women, not his wife. And he said essentially that the punishment was appropriate for the crime. So what does Jaleel White know? I'd like to hear. Also, we've been talking about a smattering of other topics as well, which we'll pick up on, including a black police officer who is being reprimanded for his hairstyle. And I'm going to show you an image of it. I want you to tell me whether you think it should be a fireable offense. Now, if those are the rules, those are the rules. But rules are made to be broken. And there was a time in which it was the law that black people were less than white folks. That ain't the law no more because people challenged it. So some rules need to be challenged, and we'll talk about it. That's right, black hair. I know. I know. Also, what the F is Biden talking about? Biden said it's about your dignity. He's urging Americans to accept a suitable job or lose unemployment benefits following a disappointing April jobs report. So I want to talk about that. What is he? It's about your dignity. You're wrong, Mr. President. It's not about dignity. I'll tell you what it's all about when we come back. Again, I'm live, I'm local, and I'm vocal. It's the Nathan Ivey Show. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Didn't know the love was war. Then I saw you coming at me. Oh, 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 oh. Somebody that I used to know. Somehow you're my enemy. Oh, 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 oh. I don't wanna fight no more. Origami on the floor. Breaking stuff that's so sentimental. Push and pull is all we do. Life is hollow without you. Ooh, without you. Without you. Without you. Without you. Left hand feels so heavy, anchored to your memory. Ravage through my brain, oh, loose in the china shop. It goes non-stop. I don't wanna fight no more. Origami on the floor, breaking stuff that's so sentimental. Push and pull is all we do. Life is hollow without you. Ooh.
How I love the city of mine. It never gets me down, city of mine. How I love the city of mine. It never gets me down, yeah.
I was born in the city, I was raised on its edges. My pop worked his life on its confines. I found love in its center. If I could live here forever, think it'd be for the better. I love the weather, even though it's fog 24/7. I love the people. This is a city I met all my best friends, and I wanna thank every brick. I wanna thank every entrance to every building that I step in this city of mine. Oh, you most my best moments in life. See, I fell in love for the first time in Golden Gate Park. I saw my first rap show at Great American Hall. I used to beg my homies for a ride across the bridge to goof off and spend the whole damn day doing whatever we want. Keith drove us down to Ike's place while we'd roll up a blunt. And me and Jack would get stoned, walk around and get lost. Don't think I'll ever truly pay back all I was lucky to get just by walking through the city. No, I'm a small part of this.
City of mine. How I love this city of mine. It never gets me down, city of mine.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Just a quick interlude. Good morning. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the show. Hopefully, staying chill. Just a quick interlude. We right back at it. 513-873-7134. Hope your morning is going well. Welcome to my home studio. This is actually where I do what I do. I'm going to switch this around a little bit, probably for tomorrow, just to be a different angle, a little bit more depth behind me. Let you see what I see a little bit. Something visually interesting to you. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Tabitha writes, hell, the foreigners who own our grocery stores talk to black folks like they don't even respect us. What about that part? I shop black as much as I can. Yeah, I've seen it. I never go back. Why would they choose a more liberal congresswoman over one of the most conservative ones? Drip, if that's your real name. Charles writes, Drip, if you're given the typical black and Gilligan response, you can't answer Nate's questions. Keep on deflecting. Going hard in the paint. Somebody says he's not answering, he's bug dancing. Pamela writes, 74 million didn't vote for Liz. TNT writes, I still feel it's a lot to throw out when there are still issues with accessibility in certain areas. Not enough education. We elect politicians to be good stewards. And all the other pockets of money, rather it sells homeowners, is still all our money. Lynn writes, 80 million didn't vote for him. Janice writes, it's irrelevant and stupid. She writes, I cannot stand Drop. Dale writes, he is so wrong. That's our brother, though. That's our brother from the West Coast, and he one of us. And I'm hoping that at some point we can meet in the middle with Drop. Okay, but I'll say I think he brings a very valuable element to the show because he's got that viewpoint. 1 million for COVID, but balk on housing. Disagreeing does not mean triggering. Oh, Jerica writes, he said, Black Russia said you reached out to him. That's great, Jerica. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Absolutely. That's what's up. Prayers up. People saying prayers up to Black Russia. You got a lot of support in here. People generally in the chop shop are very critical thinkers, but good people. Prayers up, prayers up, prayers up. Jesse, prayers up. A lot of people saying good words to you. Tabitha writes, this program is my therapy. I appreciate that. Take care, brothers. Nobody. I hate to see people in pain, man, but it is what it is. Hey, what's up, Shannon? How you doing? I see you. What's up? Good morning. She writes, no, men aren't honest about it or it wouldn't be cheating. Okay, I'm just saying, this is just my opinion, and I'm biased because I'm a man, but when it comes to that cheating thing, women cheat just as much, if not more than men. They just hide it better. You know, it's just something about a man that it's not that he's sloppy, but I just think that men are more honest. I just think that men are more honest about that. Good morning to you. Nate, what you are saying is true of all people. Stop with men versus women. Okay. I think women do it for payback and men cheat for sport. Some women cheat for sport too. Good morning, Junior. Darlene writes prayers up to Black Russia. So a lot of well wishes in here, man. People wish the best for you. Roots writes, the look on your face, Nate. LOL, young king. Yeah. Drop writes, where's Black Panther? I said the same thing. So go get Black Panther. Superheroes have invaded the show. They've invaded my house, man. It's a damn shit. It's a wonder I haven't tripped, man. I've been tripping over all kind of stuff. And you purchase these toys for your children. You don't want to break them. Man, they on the steps. They everywhere. I'm like, look, you're trying to kill one of your parents, bro. Get this up. Got the remnants of Avenger battles with Thanos all over the house. TNT writes, I hope Black Panther feels better. He was saying it because of his daddy. His daddy was a little bit under the weather. Black Panther sick, LOL. I'm like, wait, they got all that good technology in Wakanda. Tracy writes, Spider-Man tricks hanging from the stairs. Exactly, Tracy. You got two boys, you already know. As soon as I saw him, I chuckled. I just wanted to make sure he wasn't, injured, but it's going to happen. Shannon writes, he's on Iron Man today. Yes, he is, Shannon. Tanika writes, he's an amazing kid, Nathan. I love the babies. Carolyn writes, my grandson has that Iron Man figure. They all got them. They all had to have them. Shannon writes, he told you Black Panther is sick. Right. Oh, man. Daddy is Flash Gordon and kid is Black Spider-Man. No, Daddy is Black Panther. Black Panther was my favorite superhero growing up. I was reading the comic books. I'm way ahead of most of y'all on that Marvel-ish, way deep into it. And that's why it's so exciting, because I already know they're only scratching the surface. There are so many more wonderful characters and stories that they can adapt for the big screen that people are going to love. And I keep saying it. Wait until they figure out how to do the X-Men right. They haven't done the X-Men right. So far, it's been campy and some BS. They ain't did it right. When they finally get the right cast, the right director for the X-Men, it's going to be your favorite. You're going to love it way more than the Avengers. Way more. So I'm talking to black folks. You're going to love it way more. Way more. Drum writes, so sweet. That makes me miss my daddy's love. I can understand it. We can understand it. Black Panthers in the house. Somebody writes, good morning, Junior. Shannon writes, yes, we back. Let me see. I hate when girls get in a feeling. Oh, it's my daughter. Yeah. I don't want to go to details because it's not necessary, but she's dealing with some stuff with her friends and, trying to do the right thing. What do they say? No good deed goes unpunished. That's what she's dealing with. Try to do a good deed and it was taken the wrong way. And so, that social clique is everything for teenagers, just like it was everything for you and me. That's part of the reason why she go to school, to hang out with her friends. And so we're just worried about her. We'll see what happens. She'll bounce back. And then my wife and I go into mommy daddy mode. So we want to try to let her know we here for her. And she ain't having it. She's like, I don't need all of this. I'm like, just let us love on you, girl. It's what you get. You're going to take this love. Shannon writes, some chick did that to get IG followers. Is that right? Pamela writes, I pray for boys. I have 3 sons, 2 grandsons, no girls, and I love it. Can't deal with teenage girl attitude. I'm so blessed. Yeah, she does have teenage girl attitude, but I just look at it as it's the early beginnings of black excellence. I like arrogant people. I do. I like arrogant people. I like confident, arrogant people. I can, especially if it's effective. Now, if it's arrogant with no results, I don't got no, you just some clown shit. But if it's arrogant with results, like you producing, do you? Do you? See here. My boys love watching your son with his toys. That was so sweet. With the Black Panther, yeah, that was sad. Yes, I will still stay masked up. Shannon writes, yep, people nasty. Yes, they are. I can't trust them. Humans worse than COVID. I can't trust you. I will walk air free, but when I get around folks, mask going on. I hear you on that. Jerome writes, masks up always and forever. I wonder what percentage of the population is going to stay masked up into the near future. Like 5 years now, still wearing a mask. I wouldn't be mad at them. There's going to be people out there that even if we get, and I say if we get past COVID, because we can never take Mother Nature for granted. I know beings think we got Moderna, we got Pfizer, we got Johnson & Johnson, we got the trifecta of vaccines. We're beating COVID. Somewhere Mother Nature's like, oh, you think you over with human beings? I mean, let me show you. The dinosaurs thought we was through with them too. Look what happened to them. Extinct. The Atlanteans thought they was on top of the world until we hit them with that tsunami. It's a wrap for you. We want to think we have control. We don't have no control over this whatsoever. It's up to God and Mother Nature. That's it. Everybody running around here getting the COVID-19 for this specific variant. Who knows if it could be COVID-20, a whole different strain. Got to get vaccine that shit all over again, right? We'll be right back in the same spot. So let's be cautiously optimistic. Let's hope for the best and prepare for the worst. I think that's the best attitude. Shannon writes, I'm glad that he shared that he got help. I am too. I am too, Shannon, because men have feelings. Men are very sensitive. We're more than just a penis. I know some of you women think all we are is a penis, but we're more than a penis and muscles and deep voices and all the other things you like. We're more than that. We have feelings and emotions and things that extend beyond the bedroom and feelings and insecurities and all that kind of stuff. All of that is part of being a man. Now, how you deal with it is part of being a man as well, but I'm glad he called in and set the record straight. And listen, I ain't looking for no props, but I gave that man great advice. I could have played that whole thing differently, but I approached it with love for my brother because that's all I have to give. So let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Nathan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, fam. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Pardon me. I just want to say this. Well, shouts out to the brethren, calling in and, having the strength to call in and admit what he was doing. But I hear, that your son come in with the superheroes and whatnot. And who did he have? Iron Man, Batman, and Black Panther, or Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Black Panther?
Yes. That's who you had.
Good. Those are three worthy characters. Do not let your children get involved with Batman. That is a pedophilia fantasy. He's a character stoked in pedophilia. He's riding around the biggest city in the world, a single billionaire, and he's riding around with a teenage boy in short shorts. And I say that, I'm not being facetious, trying to make a joke. This was something I thought about like 5 years ago, and then just in the last 6 months, I started doing more research on it. That's been an online support group since 2010. Or not support group, but like a movement to cancel that character. Because it's clearly pedophilia. A man's pedophilia fantasy. Whoever the character developer was. And, you'd be wise to not let your child get involved with that guy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you follow?
I don't follow. I do know there's an online movement and all that kind of stuff, but I think they're reading too much into it.
Why would they be reading too much into it? You don't find that a peculiar relationship?
No, I never thought about it like that. No. I mean, it'd be different if there was a couple of episodes where, Batman was shooting a shot at Robin, but I've never seen that. It's just, just the way that they...
I forgot. Of course you wouldn't. Of course you would.
Okay.
You find it okay that 50-year-old men threaten genitalia. Other men's genitalia. Like, what do they do that at? That's foul to reference another man's genitalia. I mean, I didn't want to take it here,
yes,
but that's the real reason I'm pissed behind that. You're allowing it. You always talk about that fight at the hoop court. I bet somebody referenced somebody's genitalia, and that's why they started fighting and got slammed on their head. I wasn't even there, and I can tell that's what happened. Am I in the ballpark?
What fight at the hoop court were you talking about?
You claimed you was playing basketball at Friars and somebody got slammed on their head.
Oh yeah. I did see that. It was unfortunate. It had nothing to do with that. That was one black man's insecurity, ego. Want the other brothers to think he, a big man or whatever. It had nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Oh, he didn't say SMD or nothing like that?
I don't think so. Nope. No, it was just one man's fragile ego. The two brothers was jockeying in for position in the low post. You had one brother who I guess he thought he was a better baller than the other. The other brother got the best of him. All the brothers watching, and you know how brothers do, and he got into his feelings and popped him. I guess he thought that was gonna make him feel better. It had nothing to do with what you're talking about. You're obsessed.
I just,
Glenn is in your head.
I'm sorry?
I think that you should reach out to Black Russia to see if
I go to
the therapist that he's talking to is available for you.
I shouldn't have to go to the bathroom and see Glenn clutching my pearls.
The fact that you do says you need to talk to somebody.
I'm not going to.
You should. Go talk to somebody.
He needs to talk to. He could have said something about Wile E. Coyote or shooting wolves and wearing fur. But no, he goes straight to wanting to touch stuff.
I
have a problem with that.
Can I just make a suggestion? You don't have to take it. But I would suggest you talk to somebody about that because I think Glenn's comments, they're sticking to you harder because you got some of your own issues you're dealing with. It's not even really about Glenn. It's probably about you, brother. I said that.
You ain't never been more right. You ain't never been more right. But that don't change the fact that he skipped over a bunch of things and he basically became a substitute gym teacher. You know what I'm saying? Are you there?
No, I don't.
Yeah, he basically became a substitute gym teacher and said, I ain't got nothing better else to do. I'm going straight for the balls. You know what I'm saying? That was unnecessary. Now listen, yeah, Batman. I talked about that, but listen, that's all I got, B. All right, unless you have any questions, comments, or snide remarks.
I'll save them for when you get off.
Okay, thanks.
You're very welcome. Yeah, I mean, Black Russia, if you're watching, can you please share whoever you spoke with, your therapist or whatever, with your brethren there, your colleague in the alt middle, because he needs it. He is obsessed with Glenn's comments about him, and like I told you, your reaction to it is funnier than what he actually said. It's hilarious. Talking about when you go to the restaurant, you thinking about him, brother. You may have deeper issues than what he said. You may have much bigger issues than what another man said. That's where I would start. Brent writes, Nate, you're going to pull a muscle patting yourself on the back. I'm just showing love. That's all. I want people to recognize it. Because there'll come a time where people going to say something like, I don't like Black Russia or something like that. And I don't want you to forget this time. That's all. Because I know how people are. You just don't like him. Nothing can be further from the truth. I just speak the facts. So I just want people to remember. That's it. Jerica, can you do a consultation with Fame, please? Can we set that up? Could you help that brother? Heather writes, come on now, it's just Batman. I don't see that. Like, again, maybe it's something about my brain, but when I'm looking at Batman, I've seen that those people sitting online. I've never seen that before. It's just a cartoon to me, nothing more. Now, these creative works are a projection of the people that created it. So sometimes it can be imbued with all kinds of stuff beneath the scenes and things like that. I've heard these theories before. I've never really seen it or felt that. To me, it was just Batman and Robin. That's a sidekick. That's what I saw. All right. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nate. This is the voice of reason. This is Deborah Nesbitt.
Hey,
How
what's
you
up,
doing?
Deborah Nesbitt? How are you? Good morning.
Fine, I'm good. Surviving the pandemic like everybody else, getting through it. What's the name of dude? He went and got help. You know, I had to get me some antidepressants during this pandemic. My daughter let me know way back in July last year that I was not doing very well. I was not maintaining. So I had to get a therapist, get a counselor, talk to her once a week. And they put me on some antidepressants, and I'm doing a lot better. House is cleaner, kids are happier, birds are singing, everybody's chirping. Like everything's good. But sometimes we need help. We as Black people don't get help enough. We say so and so is funny about this, or they nerves is bad, but we just need to get. It's okay. We can get professional help in therapy now. You can live better. And trust that maybe medical science is going to treat us better. I have a Black therapist, though. I did find a Black woman therapist. She is the unicorn of therapists, but I did find her. So I suggest, if you can at all, talk to Black people, and if you can't, find somebody of color, and if not, still get help. There's help out there to be had. So I'm glad he did. I definitely did, and I'm better off for it. Bill Cosby, there's two schools of thought about Bill Cosby. One is that, the man was out to get him, and, or that he was basically like a good person that got caught up in a bad situation. My thought on Bill Cosby is that Bill Cosby forever threw himself under the bus. Bill Cosby used his American dad persona and philanthropy to cover up for being an evil, evil person. How he treated women, what he did to women, throughout his entire career is it's just evil. It's nothing short of evil. Drugging women and having sex with them is bad, people. It's a very bad thing to do. Bill Cosby has forever thrown himself under the bus. It's a tragedy to me as a person who was raised by a single mom and looked up to Bill Cosby, went to college because of a different world, and to find out the person that he was. He's not the only one. Remember the Seventh Heaven dad who was like the preacher dad on the show, and he went to jail for being a child molester. Sometimes actors are not who we think they are. They're just not. And he said we thought he was a good guy, and he's a bad guy. And if Jaleel White is co-signing that, then oh well. too bad. It is what it is. Bill Cosby threw himself under the bus for all eternity, just like the Republican Party, which brings me to Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney is getting exactly what she deserves. You can't be the moral arbiter. You can't be the person who's like the elder statesman and go like suddenly be the voice of reason when you haven't been all these years. There's nothing good about Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney. We're still dealing with the ramifications from all of the Bush years. All of that crap plays directly into now. Like they were, they played around with racist language and they played around with all the little political things and they played around, with, let's bomb this country and let's start this war. And they brought the culture war right to America. You can't play around with that language without people taking you seriously. And millions of people are taking Trump seriously. And they played that game and they didn't really mean it. And they ran across a whole bunch of people who really do mean it. And now those people want to take over the Republican Party. So the good news is she got what she deserves. The better news is a whole bunch of Republicans just put themselves on the wrong side of Dick Cheney, who was a very dangerous man. I would not play with that man. Like, Trump is stupid evil. Dick Cheney is you turning up missing evil. Like, these people have just put themselves on the wrong side of a very dangerous man. I'm not scared of a lot of people on this planet. I'm scared of Dick Cheney. Like, it feels as terrifying. Yeah, don't do that. I don't know. That's just bad. I think Joe Biden's doing a good job. I'm going to go out there and say it. I like Joe Biden. Joe Biden is a much better president than any of us deserves. He's a good guy. Sorry, y'all black people who are just like, he's not doing enough for black people. He got a lot on his plate right now. And I understand that because I have a lot on my plate. Nobody gets it. They think I'm just sitting around on the internet all day. I'm not. And Joe Biden is, right now the pandemic is huge. It's a lot huger than any of us believe. It's not as huge in Hamilton County, which I think gives a lot of us a lot of safety, an undeserved feeling of safety. Like, we feel like, okay, it's not that bad here, but it is really bad in a lot of places. But I've looked at the actual numbers. I actually plan on sending my kids back to school this summer and this fall for the catch-up program. My mom is fully vaccinated. We got her vaccinated first, mainly because she's the oldest, and then we can't afford to be sick at the same time. And she did have some serious side effects for her second round. So I nursed her through her side effects, and then I went and got mine. So both, we have two kids in the house, so somebody has to be able to take care of the kids. So she got hers, nursed her through her second round of side effects. I got mine. I had like COVID arm where like my arm was hurting and I had this weird rash and like my stomach was upset, and then that kind of went away and I'm fine. So the second round is probably going to do me a number, but we'll see what happens. But the vaccinations are now open for kids 12 and up. He was 16 and up. Now it's 12 and up. Get your kids vaccinated. I'm hoping they're doing trials. They have been doing trials for a while on babies as young as 6 months old. So I'm hoping, praying that by the time school starts, kids at least school agers will be able to get the vaccine. Because my kids are going back to school either way. I'm going to mask them up, double mask them up. They know what it is to wear a mask by now. They get it. I think I can trust them to do that. And they're going back to school because I can't do another year like last year. Just can't. So I am an awful virtual school parent. I am a I am the person who they like call and they're like, why aren't your kids doing well? Your kid's probably going to have to repeat second grade. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not worried about him falling behind in school. We survived a pandemic. So, and I've done a lot. My uncle got Alzheimer's and I had to bring him down here from New Jersey. I've been taking care of 4 people. My daughter moved back home. Like, it's been a busy time. So virtual school was the least of my worries. Wow. So it's going to be all right. We all going to weather this together. I love how Black people have handled the pandemic. We just like started doing verses and being happy. Like people are out here worried about a race war, and we're like, who's better, Patti LaBelle or Dionne Warwick or whatever? Like, I love Black people. I love us. So I'll see you out here on the internet tonight.
All
right,
Deborah, real. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. It was great hearing her voice. That's Deborah Nesbitt. Damn, that was a challenge, man. Taking care of 4 people during COVID and yourself? Shit, props to you. That's very difficult to do. Very difficult to do. Let me move on here. Let me show you a quick image, and I want you to tell me if you think that this police officer's hair, and it is just another conversation about black hair. You know, what else is there to talk about these days? But check this out. Do you think that's unprofessional? Is that unprofessional? That's a black Dallas transit cop who has been reprimanded by his department for his unprofessional hairstyle. Dakari Davis. He looks like a Dakari Davis. He's an officer for the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Police Department. He said that his colleagues shouldn't judge me based upon my appearance, adding that his coworkers know my character and they know his heart. Apparently, he joined the DART, D-A-R-T, Dallas Area Rapid Transit Police Department force back in 2019. And he never thought his appearance, which he routinely wore his hair in a braided style, would interfere with his job performance. But apparently, he was ordered not to wear the braided hairstyle while in full uniform. He chose to wear the hairstyle anyway during a ceremony, and he got reprimanded for it for his cornrows. And I'd like to know what you think about it. Like, I feel 2 ways about it. Like, on one hand, looking at it, I don't have a problem with it. It's just another hairstyle. To me, I don't see any difference between that and his hair being short. Or if he had a little fro, I don't see a difference in it. I mean, that's what he wants. He doesn't look any more or less professional to me. I think his hair does look professional because it's nicely kept. You can see he goes to the barber. He's got somebody doing his hair. It looks good on him. He's got that kind of hair where he can do that. You can see that. So as a citizen, if I was a citizen of Dallas, I wouldn't give a damn who showed up. I'm much more interested in your character. What are your actions? What's coming out of your mouth? How are you interacting with me? But again, not all hairstyles are appreciated. The other thing about that is those are the rules. You knew what the rules were before you decided to be there. If you want to rock your own hairstyle and do your own thing, then do your own thing, but you can't be on DART. But I also think that things change. Like, sometimes you can have rules in place, even on the job, that need to be changed, that need to be challenged, that need to be updated. And if nobody does any of those things in terms of challenging, it just stays the way it is. But as I look at this brother, I don't see a problem with him. If I had an issue in Dallas and he rolled up, I might even be happier. Like, okay, we got us a brother here. Got us a real brother or something like that. Maybe that's what it is, because the hairstyle signals that he is connected with his culture and his ethnicity or something like that. I don't know. But I mean, just real quick, what do you think? The rules are the rules, or listen, we got to change these rules and update them for the time. Just a quick little sidebar. All over the country, black folks are dealing with the same issue. This is happening down in as I said, down in Texas. So down in Dallas. So he's got to deal with that. Dariki Davis. And I don't know about Cincinnati police officers. Can Cincinnati police officers do that? Didn't they pass some kind of no bias in your hairstyle ordinance by city council? Again, that's the least of my worries when I get stopped by a police officer these days. I ain't even looking at your hair. And I wouldn't care if you had white dudes that had ponytails. I don't care if you got a ponytail. Now, it might be something where they feel like it opens the door for it being a safety issue or something like that. Okay, I can hear that argument, but is that automatically unprofessional? Well, I guess those kind of things are determined by the people whose job it is to determine those kind of things. Let me move on. More news you may be able to news. Let's talk about Joe Biden. President Joe Biden urged Americans to accept suitable jobs and return to work, warning that those who don't will lose their unemployment benefits. He said this on Monday. He said this after a disappointing April jobs report. The nation is still recovering from the pandemic. And I'm reading more and more that there's restaurants and people they're looking for people to work. And where are the people? Where are the workers? I'll tell you where the workers are. They're at home chilling. They got money rolling in from the government. And President Joe Biden is completely wrong. It's not about dignity. If I can stay home and collect from the government the same amount of money or nearly the same amount of money as I can from working my hands to the bone, working 40 hours a week, what you think I'm going to do? All that dignity schmignity. When you get a bill, the bill collector don't give a goddamn how you make that money. They don't say, hey, listen, can you send us the amount due, but let's make sure you worked actually for it. They don't give a damn. They just want them zeros to line up, man. The right dollar amount. Simple as that. This whole dignity of work. I mean, there's a dignity in being self-sustainable. But if I can if I'm getting $500 a week from the government or unemployment, and that's close to what I was making from working 35, 40, 45, 50 hours a week, that dignity should go out the window real quick. It's about your dignity. Man, if you don't shut the fuck up, it's about paying your bills. That's what it's about. It's not about dignity. It's about paying your bills, taking care of your responsibilities, and being able to maintain your lifestyle. It's about getting food. It's about keeping that internet bill going. It's about keeping them lights on. It's about keeping that air conditioning on. As long as you're doing it through legal means, I'm for it. Other than that, all that dignity, it's about dignity. The dignity of work. You can get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear that nonsense. This is 2021. We ain't going for that. There's no dignity in working. Is there dignity in working yourself to the bone for the rest of your life, being underpaid, being unappreciated? You ain't got no real benefits, but there's some dignity in that. Man, you better say that for the grandparents, for the great-grandparents. I don't want to hear that. Get to the check. That's what I'm trying to get to, period. Life is about, and this is for my younger listeners out there, life is about minimizing what you have to do so you can maximize what you want to do. That's what life is all about. Minimize what you have to do. Because an adult, there's some things you have to do to maintain your lifestyle. You want to minimize that so you can maximize the stuff that you really want to do. Get up every day with a smile on your face, like whatever that might be. You know, I can't tell you. Some people it's vacation. Some people it might even be work. But doing what you really, really love, that's what it's all about. Dignity schmignity. What about the dignity of having union protection? We don't ever talk about that, do we? The dignity of having union protections, the dignity of knowing what to expect when you go to your job every single day. The dignity of knowing that your job, your supervisor just can't get mad at you one day because you say something in a meeting and then force you out with no benefits and nothing else. What about that dignity? Dignity of work my ass. Sounds good. This ain't the 50s. Andrea writes, his hair is neat. Yeah, brother looks good to me. Tabitha writes, that officer looks just fine. I agree with you. Heather writes, you mean his black hairstyle? Ugh, I would quit that day. Jerica writes, not unprofessional, but it looks a mess. Looks very nice. I'm so sick of them messing with us. David writes, unprofessional. Ronald writes, so police stations will reprimand for braids, but not for killing people who are unarmed? Oh, you gonna go there and make points? You making points? Deborah writes, his hair looks fine. I agree. Look good to me. Cass is in the house. She writes, his hair didn't grow out like that overnight. Why is it an issue now? Good point. Jerica writes, how is the hair that grows out of your hair unprofessional? Ugh. What she just said. Rodney writes, I am not a fan of Joe Biden because ain't nobody talking about what he's doing for black folks. They came up with something for Asians. Well, what I would say is I feel that frustration, Rodney, but it's still early in the game. And for those that are built for it, they need to be exerting as much pressure as possible on the Biden administration so he can deliver for black voters. If the Biden administration doesn't deliver in a big way, the Democrats are going to lose control in 2024. There's no doubt about it. they're going to lose control. It's got to be big. Black voters need to feel as if, I didn't just not vote for Trump, but I actually am getting something out of it. That's how you energize black voters. You deliver. It's real simple. And it's got to be deliverables. I want to see Joe Biden fight for as strongly for us as Trump did for himself and for wealthy people when he was in town, when he was in charge. That's what we need to see. That same single-minded determination that we saw from Trump or for the dumb shit. We need to see that single-minded determination for the real shit for us. If not, the Democrats are going to lose seats in 2024 and lose control. No doubt about it, 100%. 100%. If he came to work with Bob Marley style, is he doing his job? Bottom line. Okay. Brent writes, you know who in this country deems what is professional look and what isn't? Yes, we do. Kathy writes, he's handsome. Okay. Deborah Nesbitt writes, there's Poppy Therapeutic Corner. I see Angela for meds and she works with me, my weekly counselor, who is Jocelyn Johnston. She is great. Okay. TNT writes, how is it different than a man bun or mullet hairstyles white men may wear who have longer hair? Cornrows look threatening to some white people. They do. Because you had a lot of Negroes from the streets that used to rock that. You know, that was like the go-to hairstyle during the gangster rap era, right? And so that gets burned into the brains of some people. But to me, it's just hair. I don't judge people for their hair. I judge people by what comes out of their mouth, their character, what they do. But that's just me. He is a police officer, and there you must look the present. Okay. Actually, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act is headed to the Senate. Biden will sign it if passed. I don't know where you get your information. Rachel writes, he did mention it in his 100-day speech, but it should be daily. It's frustrating Asians receive a law quickly. I agree with you, Rachel. It needs to be daily. Every single time he hits the microphone, he needs to be talking about this because it will send a message that this is something that is beyond just lip service, that he really, really means. And that's what Trump gave to his constituents. There was a lot of stuff that Trump wanted to do, but he didn't have the numbers legislatively. So he tried to go around and do it with executive orders. But the fact that every single time he did an interview or got in front of a microphone, he would stick to this script, sends a message to his base that I'm trying. And that's all you can ask for. I'm not looking for Joe Biden to wave a magic wand and deal with everything on his lift but I want to hear and see a serious effort. All right, so let me play this for you. This was just yesterday. Shout out to Sister Iris. She does great work, her and her team, educating our community. And I haven't got a chance to watch all of it, but I want to put this on your radar screen. It's on Facebook. I know it's on her page. You can find it. It's been shared in a lot of different places. But guess who that is right there? Top third from the left box. That's Laura Mitchell, who is exiting soon to be the ex-superintendent. So I thought this might be interesting just to hear some of what Laura Mitchell had to say. I'm starting at sort of like a random spot. So let's check this out.
Is right here. And when I get to beat Jakers, then I get to beat Jakers. So yesterday morning, I took off an hour of time to address the Beat Jakers staff. And it was literally about 15 minutes. And I said to them, I got to get back to my assignment at CPS. And I'll see you guys in June. So that's the one thing that I really can't talk about today because I'm so focused on CPS. And then the other thing is I haven't arrived at Beat Jakers yet. I haven't started to work with the people there, and I haven't started to work with the community and the families to find out what they really want and need. So it would be arrogant of me to start to say what we're going to do without having yet been there. So I want to address that. That's the one thing I won't talk about now, but I will come back. And actually, I saved your phone number in my personal phone so that when I leave CPS, I have it because I do want to talk to you about some things as it relates to community engagement and involvement, authentic. In terms of, so let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Why did I leave? And so let's address it in terms of, was there pressure from the community? And I would say if any one person thinks that they have that type of influence, that's pretty bold and arrogant of them, to be honest with you. So when I stepped into this seat and this role, I knew it was going to be a hard role. Did I know it was going to be as hard as this year was? No. Honestly, prior to COVID hitting, we had no idea how good we had it. The stuff we were dealing with, it was minor, important, but minor in comparison to what we have dealt with as it relates to COVID. And, people always say to me, "Oh, Laura, you have it so hard." And I always correct them and say, no. Our families and our kids and our parents and our teachers who are in the schools, they're the ones who have it really hard. So it's been really hard on everyone, not just me, but everyone has really suffered through this. So the question is, did the board push me out? And that is absolutely not true. I have a really good working relationship with the board. And as a matter of fact, I believe the media, they've done a public records request for my contract. And it will show that I actually have 3 more years on a contract beyond this year. So the decision to leave was a conscious decision on my part. And it had nothing to do with the board, and it had nothing to do with the public. I will say that, and I'll tell you a really quick story. When I was going for the role of the superintendent, Chris Nelms was on the board, and he was really sick. And he kept coming to board meetings and interviews. And I kept saying, you could see him physically sitting in the chair, sometimes hard to get up, taking a long time to walk down the hall, still opening the door for me. And just, a gentleman in class act to the very end. But I remember one day I could see him sitting and it was obvious that his body was racking with pain. And I said to him, "Chris, go home. Why are you here?" And I'm going to try to say the next thing without tearing up. But what he said to me is, "You are my assignment, and I have to finish this assignment." And so he felt that it was important enough for him to be there to help make sure that I sit in this seat today. And so when I think about my calling.
That's a little bit, it's called Woke Wednesdays. Hold on one second here, let me put it down. It's called Woke Wednesdays. You can find it on Facebook. Just go to Iris Rowley, and she always posts it on her personal page. You can check it out. She has these conversations that are very relevant. A lot of good information there. She talked with Laura Mitchell. I won't play any of it more than that, but she answered the question. Like, again, when I heard about it, it was the day of, and I got it from a couple of sources. Then I'm like, okay, yeah. When I hear things typically from 2 or 3 different sources, I'm like, okay, it must be some truth to it. But I took it for a word. I didn't think the board was pushing her out, or I wasn't. Again, I think she was right on that. If people think that they got that much power to push Laura Mitchell out from the parent standpoint, arrogant from what I'm seeing, they ain't really worried about no one parent or no one parent group. And by they, I'm talking about the superintendent, the principals, they ain't worried about one parent complaining about a damn thing because there's a system in place that protects them. Same thing with the school board. Yeah, you may have a moment here or there on a talk show like this or somewhere else where it gets people's attention, but generally speaking, they ain't really worried about us. They ain't worried about us at all. And Laura Mitchell inadvertently said something that is so true that I got to make a point on. Like she said, if parents out there think you got that much influence, you're sadly mistaken. You do not, and that's the problem. That's part of the problem. She 100% right. There is no one parent group out there that's got that kind of influence in the city of Cincinnati. And that goes especially for the superintendent, but that goes for all of the administrators across the line, across the whole system. Because if they did, then we see them being more reactive when people call in and say things and things like that. So I would encourage people, if you're interested, that may not be your thing, but go back and check it out and hear the entire interview and plug into what they're doing on Wednesdays on a regular basis. But I wanted to play that part because she spoke to a lot of the questions that people have about what the motivation was. She might want to move on. It's just time. I'm sure that takes a lot out of you, especially if you care. Like if you're the kind of person that when you go to work, you actually work. Because some people got jobs, let's be honest here, and they bullshitting all day. But if you actually work, that can take a lot out of you. Let's go to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, dear brother. Thank you so much for playing that from yesterday. Thank you. This is Sister Iris. And I just wanted to say that I would encourage people to listen to what the outgoing superintendent had to say. She left a litany of processes that should be in place for the upcoming year. She talked about African American literature, courses, night school, um, some more things that should be put in place so that parents and those who are interested in how learning is designed for the students inside of CPS, we will know, who and what to hold accountable. She talked about the numbers. We talked about the SROs. We talked about the restorative justice piece for teachers, all those things. So I would encourage people to take a gander and listen to it. And Brother Nate, what spun out of that conversation was a conversation that we will spend some time on Woke Wednesdays collecting data from community on what they believe the next superintendent, what criterion, characteristics, teachings, learning, ability, skills should the next superintendent have, and put that forth to the administration so that the community can weigh in on that. And not just on the superintendent, my dear brother, but for the chief of police. We will be in search of that individual also. So those will be two conversations that we definitely will spend some time on this coming summer, spring and summer, to ensure that communities can be, the community's voice raises up in that particular search. And so thank you just for playing that. It was
for sure. Thank you for putting it together for the community. Are you hearing,
yeah,
I mean, you don't share if you feel comfortable, but are you hearing any early names in terms of front runners for the next CPS superintendent?
I did not. I actually called someone that I know to ask if they were interested, and they said that they weren't. I have not heard anything. But I definitely do believe that communities should be able to weigh in on, who the next person is. I know Shonda Monroe, she assured me that in the last search, community was part of that. So I just want to make sure that, again, that we have a place of where our voices fit in, our thoughts and concerns are weighed in on the next decision. But no, I have not heard.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm sure we will soon.
And so, dear, yeah, and if we do, I definitely will share that with you. But what I'd like to put to you in the choppers today, no matter what medium they're listening on, but as we look for the next chief, my question into the community is: should the city utilize Issue 5, which allows them to go outside of the city, outside of the state of Ohio, to get a police chief? That was one of the derivatives of the collaborative. We got that done in 2005. Or should they look internally to those assistant chiefs that we have right now? So be looking out for those conversations. If we need to do joint, Nathan, I'm down for that. Anything we need to do in the collective, for Black people, I'm there for that. So
I'm curious, Sister Iris.
Yeah.
Real quick, what's your gut on that? What's your gut on the new chief? From inside the ranks or outside?
It is, being a part of this and seeing people come from the outside and seeing what we have internally. And we push for outside because of the broader knowledge, the broader skill set, the more people and diverse communities people come from, as opposed to just being in Cincinnati or the state of Ohio. And I've seen the difficultness of someone coming from outside and having to break through that challenge of being from the outside. People always say, "Oh, you don't know us, and you don't know this, and you don't know that." Police science is police science. It is about folk being open enough to allow someone to come in from outside. I always like to see what's out there, so I'm gonna, lean towards utilizing Issue 5 and seeing who would be daring enough to come into Cincinnati after we've seen with our two chiefs that we had that did come from the outside. So I like to see what's out there. I want to see what skill sets, what you've done, who you've worked with, how creative you've been, what your education looks like, what you've done inside of any police force that you've worked for, where you stand on Black lives, policies, procedures, guidelines, those types of things. And are you extremely, aware and supportive of citizen oversight, input, and, there's something that we will be pushing coming later, and that's community policing, community safety. And so we need to, really rethink about our role inside of our communities, meaning who responds to things. And this is going to be a challenge for us, I think, because I think we've done it for so long, putting it in somebody else's hands, but when it ain't working, we need to figure out something else. And so there are designs, there are people out there that are doing their own safety, community safety and response plans. And I like to challenge Cincinnati, more specifically Black Cincinnati, to see, how would you respond to something like that? Would you be willing to step up? And I'm not just talking about, right now, I'm talking about getting trained. I'm talking about understanding and working with other systems. Of course, our mental health systems, educational systems, in anything that's out there that can assist people in their lives. So there are things that we could do. There are things to do. And so Ms. Mitchell is leaving, and now it's time for a whole nother superintendent. This should be interesting to watch this process. But we need to keep our eyes on the board and the administration and make sure that we're heard in that process.
All right, Sister Iris, thanks for the call.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Def. Thank you so much.
Yep, check it out. It's Woke Wednesdays, and then the thing about it is you can go back to the archives because she's doing interviews with lots of folks in the community, and it's a great source to figure out what's going on and see where people's heads are. Okay, she called up with Sharmi McGuffey most recently to get an update from the sheriff's department. So it's definitely a resource. And she's right. I forgot about that. The police chief, Elliot Isaac, is going to be leaving. So we're going to have to deal with both of these kind of things. It's going to be interesting. Very, very interesting. And, somebody said on Facebook, and I agree with that, they wish that Laura Mitchell was staying and that members of the board was leaving. I agree with that sentiment, but we don't get a chance to have it that way. Or do we? You got an election coming up. But I know how my people are in Cincinnati. I know that we can get outraged for a minute. And then the summertime is going to be here. They're lifting the the health restrictions, and people are going to be going out, having a good time. They're going to forget all about what happened during COVID. They're going to forget all about it. A school board deal what? They're going to forget all about it. Melanie, who? And we'll see. We'll see. Good morning. Good morning to you. What are we at 10:15? We went over a little bit because we got to a late start. I want to give you a good solid 2 hours. We really got started about 8:15 a.m. this morning. I appreciate you. I had to stop and smell the roses, so to speak, this morning. I had a little bit of flexibility this week. Let me see. Laura got the bag to leave. She said she had 3 years on the contract. For those 3 years, it cost. Well, she might have had an opportunity and she was looking to make a move. She's done this. She wants to do something else. Rodney writes, I think they need to look inside. Stefan writes, last time they got a new chief from out of town, people from the inside helped get rid of Blackwell and Craig. They said Scotty Johnson did that. Get Scotty on your show. Scotty's running for council. I've been in contact with Scotty since he's announced it. He's more than willing to come on the show. And he actually does a show as well, which he invited me to come on his show. We haven't done it yet, but I'll bring Scotty on. I remember when this happened, Scotty called into my show at that point and we talked about it. But if people feel like that's something they need to hear from, go right ahead. We all, it's hard to look back, and it's easy to look back in Monday Morning Quarterback, and we do, because that's what makes talk radio so fun. Talking about other people's shit from afar. I mean, let's be honest here. I have a question. Why is there only 5 crossing guards in Avondale? Don't know. Can't speak on that. Hey, listen, family, have an excellent rest of your day. I got to make a move. I got a bunch of stuff I got to do today that I want to make sure I get started on. Listen, thank you so much for your support. There is a link. My link tree is in today's description box. That'll take you to my website. It'll take you to my Patreon feed. If you'd like to make a one-time donation for the cause, you can do so as well. Or if you want to connect with me on any social media platform, you can feel free to do so. Okay. All right. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. And remember our motto. It's quite simple. Let's take it from the top. What is it again? Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk soon. All right? Don't go anywhere. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. I'm out.
Peace.